All right, so get this. Today we're doing a deep dive on DePINs.
DePINs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
decentralized physical infrastructure networks.
Oh, cool.
Like imagine the internet,
Okay.
maps,
Uh-huh.
power grids,
Right.
but built and run by like a global community.
Oh, wow. Instead of, like giant corporations.
Exactly. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, that's really interesting.
So we've got a ton of articles and research here. We're
Awesome.
going to uncover some seriously cool stuff, I think.
Well, what I find really fascinating about this whole DePIN thing is it's like a fundamental shift,
Oh, totally.
We're not just talking about cheaper internet or like wider cell coverage.
Right.
It's like DePINs could like completely change how we access and control like essential services,
Yeah.
Imagine a future where you actually have a stake in the infrastructure
Oh.
you rely on every day.
Okay.
Like you can earn from it.
Yeah.
You even have a say in how it runs,
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah. It's like that's the promise these projects hold, I think.
Okay, so let's break it down a little.
Sure.
So we're talking about people contributing resources.
Yeah.
Like, maybe an extra hard drive, they have a hotspot device,
Uh-huh.
even just their computer's processing power, right?
Right.
And they get rewarded in crypto tokens.
Exactly.
It's like building this digital commons, but it has like real world impact.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It is. And that's what really sets DePINs apart from like, traditional infrastructure.
Okay.
Because instead of centralized control, you have community ownership and operation.
Got it.
And it's all facilitated by blockchain technology.
So it's like all transparent.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
everyone's like contributing and benefiting.
Yeah. And that decentralized approach, it creates potential for more transparency,
Okay.
more resilience, and even potentially like fairness in how these services are delivered.
That's pretty awesome.
It is.
So let's get into some real world examples.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
One that I thought was really interesting is Hivemapper.
Okay, Hivemapper, yeah.
So instead of relying on like Google Maps or Apple Maps,
Right.
this project lets users build a decentralized map just by driving around with dash cams.
It's like amazing, right?
That's so cool.
Hivemapper is a fantastic example of how DePINs can like disrupt existing industries.
Totally.
So they incentivize participation by rewarding users with honey tokens for contributing data.
Oh, wow.
And they even like gamified the process. Yeah, with like AI trainer challenges where you can earn more tokens by identifying street signs and landmarks.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's like a fun way to contribute to like a valuable resource, and you could even like earn some crypto along the way.
So you're getting paid to like drive around.
Yeah, basically.
That's awesome.
It is.
And then on top of that, instead of like a company profiting from like your location data,
Right.
you're part of this network that's sharing the benefit.
Exactly.
It really flips the script on like data ownership, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
In a pretty powerful way.
It really highlights one of the key themes we see across DePINs,
What's that?
empowerment.
Oh, okay.
It's not just passive consumers, it's like they become active participants,
Right.
shaping the infrastructure and sharing in its value.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talk about maps, Hivemapper.
Yeah.
Another big one we've got here is Helium,
Helium.
which is aiming to decentralize internet and cell phone service.
Wow.
Now that's ambitious.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Helium is definitely pushing the boundaries of what's possible with DePINs, I think.
Yeah.
So their idea is to create a global network of hotspots,
Okay.
which are essentially like mini cell towers
Got it.
that anyone can buy and host.
Oh, wow.
And these hotspots, they provide coverage.
Right.
And hosts earn HNT or mobile tokens for their contribution to the network.
So instead of paying like Verizon or AT&T for internet,
Right.
you could be getting it from a network powered by like your neighbors and like potentially making money by hosting a hotspot yourself.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see why people are so excited about this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But can it really compete with like the big players?
Oh, that's a good question.
Like in terms of coverage and reliability?
I think that's like the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Helium, like a lot of DePIN projects, is still in its early stages.
Okay.
There are definitely challenges to overcome.
Sure.
Scalability is a big one,
Okay.
but the potential is undeniable.
I could see that.
Imagine bringing affordable internet access to communities that don't have it,
Wow.
or creating a more resilient network that isn't as vulnerable to outages,
Yeah, that would be huge.
It would be.
It's a really compelling vision.
It is.
And it seems like DePINs are popping up everywhere.
Yeah, they are.
We've got articles here on Render Network,
Render network, yeah.
which is tackling the world of 3D graphics.
Yeah, which is really
Which is
could be-
like super computationally intensive.
It is.
So render network is really fascinating
It is.
because it's a perfect example of how DePINs can leverage unused resources.
Right.
So instead of relying on these expensive rendering farms,
Which are so pricey.
yeah, it's ridiculous. This project allows users to share their computer's processing power,
Okay.
which are GPUs,
Right.
to help other people render graphics
Yeah.
faster and cheaper.
Yeah.
So if you have like a gaming PC,
Uh-huh.
you could potentially earn R&DR tokens by lending your GPU power when you're not using it.
It's pretty amazing.
Wait, so my gaming rig could be making me money while I'm sleeping?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Yeah. No, but seriously, this idea of tapping into like distributed resources,
Yeah.
whether it's processing power, bandwidth, data,
Right.
it just seems like a game changer.
It is. It is a game changer.
Yeah.
And it brings us to another key aspect of DePINs.
Okay, what's that?
The tokens.
Okay.
They're not just about getting rewards, you know?
Yeah. They're also crucial for governing and securing the network.
Okay.
So we're seeing this whole ecosystem of DePIN tokens emerge,
Wow.
each with its own like unique utility and value proposition.
That's interesting.
It is. And like, this is where things get really interesting, you know?
Oh, how
These tokens aren't just like digital trinkets.
Yeah.
They actually represent like ownership and voting rights within the network.
So holding these tokens means you have a say in like how the project evolves.
Exactly.
It's like being a shareholder in a company, but instead of profits, you're invested in like the future of the network.
Precisely. And that's like one of the things that really sets DePINs apart from like, you know, traditional infrastructure models.
Yeah.
In a DePIN, the users, they have a direct stake in the network's success. They're not just customers, stakeholders.
That's a huge difference.
It is. It's like flipping the traditional power dynamic on its head. Instead of like a company dictating the terms, the community has a voice in shaping the direction.
That's pretty cool.
It is. And it brings us to another important point.
Okay.
DePINs are still like a young field.
So it's early.
It is. It's early days.
Okay.
And, you know, not everything is sunshine and rainbows. There are challenges to overcome and risks to consider.
Okay, so let's get real for a second.
Yeah.
What are some of the potential downsides?
Okay, so
Things that could go wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, disrupting entire industries sounds great,
It does.
but it can't be that easy, right?
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I think it's important to approach DePINs with like a healthy dose of skepticism.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. One of the biggest challenges is scalability.
Okay.
Can these decentralized networks handle the same volume of traffic and data as the centralized systems?
Right.
You know, the ones that they're aiming to replace?
Right.
It remains to be seen.
So it's unproven technology.
Yeah, in a lot of ways.
Potential for volatility in the token markets.
Absolutely.
And just like the complexity of managing this decentralized network.
Right.
It sounds like there's a lot that could go wrong.
There is. There is. And it's crucial for anyone who's interested in DePINs to do their research and really understand the risks involved.
Yeah.
You know, look for projects with strong teams.
Transparent governance.
Yeah, transparency is key.
Yeah.
And a clear roadmap for like how they're going to tackle these challenges.
So don't just jump in blindly because of the hype.
Exactly. Don't get caught up in the hype.
Okay.
Do your due diligence.
So due diligence is key.
Yeah.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
And make sure you understand what you're getting into.
Exactly.
It sounds like the same rules of investing apply here.
They do. They do.
Even if we're talking about like cutting edge tech.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But even with those risks, the potential impact of DePINs is huge. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how we think about and build infrastructure.
Okay.
It's a move towards like more equitable access, greater user control,
Okay.
and potentially even a more resilient and sustainable future for these services.
Okay. So shifting out a bit, what does this all mean for like the average person?
That's the big question.
Yeah.
Why should they care about DePINs? I think DePINs offer a glimpse into a future where we're not just like passive consumers of technology, but active participants in shaping how it works.
I like that.
Yeah.
Like we're taking ownership, building something together, and then reaping the rewards.
As a community.
As a community. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's almost like a digital version of like community-owned solar panels or wind farms.
I love that analogy.
Instead of relying on a big utility company,
Right.
you're part of a network.
Yeah.
that generates and shares those resources.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah. It is. And just like those renewable energy initiatives, DePINs have the potential to like disrupt established industries and create a more sustainable and equitable model
for the future.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot. Maps, internet access, 3D rendering.
Yeah.
These are just like a few examples of what DePINs can do.
Right.
But what about like the bigger picture?
Okay, so
how could this technology change the world as we know it?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, DePINs have the potential to create like a more democratized internet where power is distributed among users rather than concentrated in the hands of a few large corporations.
Right.
Imagine a world where access to essential services like internet, energy, information, it's no longer a privilege, but a right available to everyone, regardless of location or socioeconomic status.
It's a powerful vision.
It is.
And it's not just about access.
That's right.
It's about control, too.
Absolutely.
Like, users would have more say in how these networks are run.
Yeah.
How their data is used.
Oh, exactly.
That's really important.
It is. It is. DePINs could, like, usher in a new era of data privacy and security where users own and control their own information.
Instead of relying on, like, Google or Facebook.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's a paradigm shift with like far-reaching implications.
But again, it's important to remember, this is still early.
It is early.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It is exciting.
But it's also risky.
Yeah, for sure.
So for our listeners who are like intrigued by all of this, what's the best way to learn more?
Oh, there are a lot of great resources online.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, just a simple search for DePIN or Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks.
Got it.
Will turn up a wealth of information, you know, websites, blogs, forums, you name it.
Cool.
You can also like dive into the specifics of the projects we've talked about.
It's like Hivemapper.
Yeah, Hivemapper, Helium, Render Network. Explore their websites and communities.
Of course, always be critical of the information you find online.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do your own research.
Look for reputable sources.
Right.
Don't get caught up in the hype.
Right.
Because this is still a frontier technology.
It is a frontier.
So approach it with like a healthy dose of caution.
Right.
And a lot of curiosity.
Yes. Curiosity is key.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we've covered the basics.
We have.
The potential, the risks, even where to learn more.
Yeah.
So as we're wrapping up this deep dive,
what
are some key takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
I think the most important takeaway is that DePINs represent a fundamental shift in how we think about and build infrastructure. It's a move away from that centralized control and towards community ownership and empowerment.
Giving people a stake in the future of the internet.
Exactly.
And the services that they rely on.
It's about building a more democratic and equitable digital world.
Block by block.
Block by block, exactly.
I like that.
And while it's still early days,
the
potential of DePINs is enormous. It's a movement worth watching.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe even participating in.
Now, that's a thought-provoking statement.
It is. It is.
And it leads perfectly into our final thought for this deep dive. So imagine, like, a world where instead of being at the mercy of, like, these tech giants, you're an active participant in the networks. That power, like, your life, You're earning from them. You're shaping their development. And ensuring they serve, like, the needs of the community, not just, like, corporate interests,
Exactly.
That's the future that DePINs are building towards.
I think so.
And it's a future worth, like, exploring.
It really is.
I think so, too.
And it's happening now.
Yeah.
It is. It's unfolding right now. Yeah. So if you're at all intrigued by the idea of like a more decentralized and democratic digital landscape, I would encourage you to like take that next step. Dive deeper into these projects we've discussed. Explore the vast resources available online and consider how you might participate in this like exciting new frontier. Maybe you'll become a Hivemapper driver.
That'd be cool.
Or host a Helium hotspot. Or contribute your GPU power to Render Network.
Or maybe you'll find a totally new DePIN project.
Exactly.
The point is, it's not about like just observing from the sidelines, right?
Yeah, not at all.
It's about understanding the potential, assessing the risks, and then deciding for yourself if you want to be part of building this future.
It's about becoming more than just a consumer.
Yeah.
It's about becoming an owner, a builder.
I love that.
A stakeholder in the networks that connect us all. DePINs are still in their early stages.
Right.
But seeds of change have definitely been planted.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe one day we'll look back and see this as the moment when, like, the balance of power truly shifted.
Okay.
When individuals and communities took control of the infrastructure.
The control.
That shapes their lives.
That's a powerful thought to leave our listeners with.
It is. It is.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of DePINs.
It was my pleasure.
We hope you've learned something new.
Yeah.
Challenged your assumptions.
Uh-huh.
And maybe even sparked a bit of that, like, what if spirit,
Oh, absolutely.
Until next time, keep exploring.
Keep questioning.
Keep questioning and keep building the future you want to see.
Couldn't have said it better myself.